Welcome to the GSMC Pets Podcast, the show that caters to pet lovers of all kinds. We'll talk about pets on social media, pets doing amazing things, and how to take care of the pets in your life. Whether your pet is a dog, a cat, a llama, hamster, reptile, or something more exotic, you'll find educational and entertaining information on the GSMC Pets Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, adjust my microphone here. Welcome back to the GSMC Pet Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Taylor Cowan. I'm one of the few hosts of the Pet Podcast. You've maybe heard my voice before. I've done quite a few now. I'm not exactly sure what number this would be. This is probably the 13th or 14th podcast I've done for the network, so thanks for tuning in. Folks, hope you're staying at home, hope you're staying safe, hope you're well. I'm doing great, as grim as things have gotten. I've been one of the best times I've ever had. I barely have to work, yet I'm still getting paid, and, I got a check from the government, buy some dog toys with it. And I'm losing weight. I've been exercising. I've had more time to exercise. It really hasn't been too bad for me. So I hope you are all well also. I truly do. Folks, we're talking about pets today, as always. In particular, what are you going to name your pet? How do you name a pet? How do you choose? Today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about we'll get into popular pet names, the most popular pet names. You might be surprised. A lot of them are kind of boring, frankly. We'll talk about what I've named my pets, what I think pets should be named, if you should name them at all even. It's my personal opinion that snakes and lizards and other reptiles should remain nameless because they have no hearts. Or souls, I should say. But let's dive right in here. And we'll start by talking about what I've named my pets. I like to name, and I think this is a very popular trend, I like to name my pets something music related. Usually it helps me remember their names. So, I've had 6 pets in the past that have been, 3 pets in the past and 3 pets currently that have been named something music related. So, for example, he had 3 Chihuahuas at one point. One was named Zeppelin, one was named Ringo, one was named Floyd. If you don't know what the references are there, that's Pink Floyd, Ringo Starr of the Beatles, the drummer, and Led Zeppelin, of course. And my current 3 pets, I've got Ozzy. He's an Australian Shepherd, therefore the name. My cat, Stevens. Get it? And my other cat, Lady Stardust. Ozzy is, named for the Black Sabbath singer. But he's also an Australian Shepherd, so I thought it would, it worked. And that's apparently, I was looking at a list earlier, that's like one of the most popular dog names. I thought I was being clever. I guess I wasn't. Everyone names their dog Ozzy, I guess. And then Cat Stevens is, of course, the Cat Stevens, Moon Shadow. Moon Shadow, Moon Shadow. You know that song? And I've got Lady Stardust. She's named after a David Bowie song off of the album Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Personally, in my opinion, is David Bowie's best album. So go listen to the album. Go listen to the whole album. You got time. I know you got time right now. We're all sitting around at home. Go take a good listen to that album, full from front start to finish. Don't be skipping around. Don't try and pick out the best hits. Don't skip any songs because it's a story. You got to listen to the whole thing. Anyways, let's say you got a new pet. What are you going to name it? How are you going to name it? What's in a name? There's all the classic dog names. What are the classics that I can think of off the top of my head? Rover is one, but I don't think anyone really names their dog Rover anymore. It's a too cliche. What's another old school classic dog name? Buster. That's a very doggish name. Champ, maybe. Champ seems to be one that I've heard. These are like movie dog names. Yeller is not really a popular one because that dog dies in the end of the movie. Well, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the most popular dog names so that we can get those out of the way before we dive into what goes into naming a dog or a cat or a bird even, or a rat. We'll talk about all sorts of different pets and, good names for them. But I've got a top 10 list here of the most popular names. This is of 2015, This is the most recent list I was able to find, so maybe these names have changed a little over time. We got a top 10 list here for dogs, cats, and birds. So let's go with the 10 for dogs, cats, and birds. Starting with dogs. Number 10 is Sophie. I think I've met a few Sophies, dogs. I'm pretty sure that's pretty common. Cat would be Shadow, and bird would be Cosmo. I don't meet a lot of birds, so, I don't know if that's true or not. Number 9 for dogs is Maggie. Cats, Tiger. Birds is Ruby. Tiger I've seen before because there's those yellow cats that are kind of striped a little bit, or not yellow, orange. Maggie, I've definitely heard that as a dog name. And then Ruby, again, birds, who knows. Let's just, burn through this bird list real quick. We'll do it that way instead. We're starting at number 8, starting with birds. Number 8 for birds is Sunny. Great name. 7 is Sammy. 6 is Buddy. 5 is Mango. 4 is Coco. 3 is Baby. 2 is Kiwi. And 1 is Charlie. Charlie, really? Seems like a strange name for a bird. What is Polly? Why isn't Polly on there? Like Polly want a cracker. Why is no one naming their bird Polly anymore? I got 10 names here. And Charlie's number 1. Charlie, that's a human's name. And then the rest are like fruit related. Kiwi and Mango. Ruby reminds me of a grapefruit. That's basically all fruit related names. And then Charlie. Coco as well. It's all food. I don't know about the bird names. I feel like a bird name should have more of a flying related thing or a pirate related theme. Diver. Holy Diver. That would be a cool bird name. That's also music related. So, fill in the blanks. Kiwi. Not a big fan. Let's just go through the cat names real quick. First, we had Shadow and Tiger. It's number 10 and 9. 8, we got Sophie. 7, Charlie. Again, what is with the name Charlie for animals? We got Charlie for birds, Charlie for cats. Number 6 is Lily. Number 5 is Lucy. 4 is Chloe. 3 is Oliver. 2 is Max. And number 1 is Bella. Max is definitely an animal name. I've got a good friend named Max. He is an animal. Oliver, I get that because Oliver and Company, that movie with that, I think it's a Disney movie. Is that a Disney movie? No, maybe not. Doesn't matter. I forget what happens in that movie, but I think the cat just gets, thrown out onto a boardwalk in a bag or something, and then he becomes friends with the other cats. And it becomes a stray. Great film. And then let's go through the 10 list for the dogs here. Number 10 is Sophie. 9, Maggie. 8, Buddy. I get that. I like Buddy. 7 is Daisy. 6 is Molly. I have met a lot of Molly dogs. 5 is Charlie. 4 is Lucy. 3 is Bailey. 2 is Max. And 1 is Bella. So number 2 and 1 are the same for cats and dogs. There's lots of Maxes out there. There's lots of Bellas. And I've met my uncle's dog is named Bella. And then I think I've met a couple Max dogs too. I don't know. I wonder what it is that makes those so popular. Molly, Maggie, and Max are all popular dog names, apparently. We're going to take a quick break here, folks. When we get back, we're going to talk about more animal names, more pet names. I'll give you some advice on how to name your pet and names that I think should be more used for pets. Talk to you in a moment.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Back, my friends. We are talking about naming pets today. We just went through the top bird, cat, and dog names. Frankly, I thought those were all a little boring, if you ask me. So we're going to go to WikiHow here, and they've got a step list on how to name a pet, and we're going to see if this is accurate. And I will be the judge. I will be the judge of that, WikiHow. So, step 1, it's telling us to think about your pet's personality. I already got a problem with this step because you don't have that much time. Like your dog, you name the dog as soon as you get it. You don't spend 2 weeks determining its personality. You got to train the thing. For a cat, it's fine. I could change my cat's names right now, and they wouldn't know the difference. Same with a bird. Maybe not like a really smart bird like a parrot, but yeah, you got a couple days with the dog before you want to start ingraining into it what its name is going to be. Cats, again, like I said, just you can change its name on the daily if you want. Cat, compressor, porter, you can just switch it around. It doesn't really matter. The cat doesn't really care. So let's think about the pet's personality, I guess, is step 1. Does he or she remind you of a person, character, object, or personality? Is there an activity he or she loves to do? Is there a character trait that she reminds you of? Any of these could suggest a good name. For example, is Star Wars a popular thing in your family? Maybe name your pet after Chewie or Leia. Okay, I get that, but that has really nothing to do with their personality, necessarily. If Star Wars is a popular thing in your family, what does that have to do with their personality? I do like naming it, after something you love. That's why all my animal names are band related. So I like that little end sentence there, but it has nothing to do with the pet's personality that you love Star Wars. So I don't know about that. You got a certain amount of time, especially with a dog. So name it right away. Step number 2, examine your pet. Let's take a dog, for example. The dog is dark and reminds you of something you like. You may name him or her Smokey or Stormy. The dog is dark and reminds you of something you like. You may name him or her Smokey or Stormy. Does that imply you just love smoking so much that you had to name your dog Smokey? I do like storms, But I think Lightning would be a cooler name, especially if it was a fast dog. Maybe he or she smells a lot, so you could name him or her Stinky. That seems like a terrible name for an animal. That's very degrading, if you ask me. If you like cartoons, you may name him Pluto. I like Pluto as a name. And I like planets, too, which Pluto is apparently not a planet anymore or whatever. I still think it's a planet. I'm still putting it on my planet list. But that's neither here nor there. I do like, examining your pet is good. And I kind of named mine after the breed. And Ozzy fits it. But I think Lightning is a cooler name than Stormy. And Smokey, I like the name Smokey. But I wouldn't want people to, think that it implied that I just loved smoking. And then Stinky's a terrible name. Sorry if your pet's named Stinky. But, maybe he or she smells a lot. Wash your dog if it smells a lot. If your dog smells so bad that you have to name it Stinky, that's on you. You got a problem there. Let's go to step number 3. Be careful and choose wisely. Ooh, be careful. If you are naming a puppy or a kitten, pick a name that can grow with the pet as he ages. Names such as baby, pups, or bay for a child animal may seem cute at the time, but when they grow to an adult, not so much. I don't see anything wrong with baby or bay or pups even. Is your dog skinny or fat? Just because it is at the time you name it does not mean in the future it will not lose or gain weight. So I feel like this kind of contradicts step number 2, where they're like, well, does he stink? Name him Stinky. Maybe he's not going to stink all the time. So don't name your pet Boney or Chubbs. Also avoid names that might alienate people, such as Cujo, which could remind others of the killer dog from the movie. Wow, this is terrible advice. I mean, if you want to, I wouldn't recommend naming your dog Cujo, because that dog is pretty vicious in the movie. But it's kind of a cool name. Cujo. Oh, from the movie Cujo. It's also smart to nix names that are tongue twisters that can be confused with training cues or everyday words. Mo, for example, can be confused with no. That's a really good point. This is the first good advice this list is given. Tom can be confused with come, and Trey can be confused with stay. Yeah, but who names their dog Trey or Tom? Tom, I could see a cat being named Tom because of Tom and Jerry. But Trey? No one's ever named their dog Trey before. This is my dog Trey. No, that's a human name. And confused with stay. I get what they're getting at, but they're all wrong. The best advice in this step is don't name your dog Cujo. Even though I actually kind of like that name. I think that's a cool name. It sounds really cool. It sounds like a powerful dog's name. Well, there's step number 3. We got step number 4 here. Think, do you want a common name? Maybe you think a common, usual name will work best for your dog. Think of some names like Grace or Riley, Max or Marcy, Jack, Tina, Biscuit, Kipper, Skipper, Noodle, or Bubbles. That's a whole step to think of if you want a common name or not. I think we could have figured that step out on our own. WikiHow. Let's skip to number 5. Get a name book. No, I disagree with this step. You don't need to go buy a book to figure out what to name your animal. That's the worst advice I've ever heard. Go on the internet. It's free. A name book that is used to help pick baby names can help you find a name. Search through some names in the book. Hey, who knows? You could find some very interesting names. Yeah, this is just sales for the baby book industry. So skip that, go online, or figure it out yourself. You don't need a book to teach you how to name an animal. Number 6, get inspired by your own life. Maybe name your pet Joker if you like comic books. It's kind of an ugly name. Do you collect or have an interest in coins? Maybe name your pet Lincoln after the penny. Okay, first of all, Lincoln isn't named after the penny. Lincoln isn't named after the president. So let's Let's get this right. What's named after what? WikiHow. Whoever wrote this list, do they get paid to write these lists? They shouldn't be getting paid, because this is terrible advice. But I do like the get inspired by your own life rule. I just don't like the paragraph that comes after it. Because, get inspired by your own life. That's what I do. Music I like. And finally, step number 7 before we go on a break. Avoid names that may be too long. Example, like the name Princess Peanut Butter is cute, but too long to say to your pet every minute or two. You shouldn't be addressing them every minute or two. Unless you plan to call the pet with the long name some quirky nickname like PPB. Is that quirky? The acronym for Princess Peanut Butter. Pretty quirky. Choose a name that is simpler that you could call the pet. And there's that, folks. There's 7 steps that might help you. I think I've got better things. We'll talk about them more coming right up after the break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And we're back, my friends. We've been talking about naming your pets. We got some terrible advice from WikiHow, which, WikiHow's the worst website anyways. There's pictures that went with all that advice that someone hand drew, I presume. Wasted hours on. Hours. You don't need a baby book to name your pet. Just look around the room. Name it a napkin. Which is actually, I kind of like that name. That's a better cat name, I'd say. Napkin makes a great name. As for your dog, really the dog, in my opinion, is the only one that needs a name. Maybe that's controversial, but is there any other pet that responds to a name, really? I know some people, if you got a snake or something, they like to pretend it responds like, oh, yeah, she knows her name's Beatrice. And I don't agree. I don't think she does. Same with your cats. My cat doesn't know her name's Lady or Stevens. In fact, all they even respond to is I have got a little whistle. I've taught them to respond to a whistle. It sounds like this. And they come running. But it's not like I have to say their name before I do that. They don't know any other commands. So, yeah, I don't think maybe dog's the only one we should be naming. And I'd be interested to see how a dog would do with no name. Would that be bad for the dog? I think not. As long as he still knows his commands, him or her, if she or he knows their commands, I'd say go for it. I want someone to experiment on this for me because I'm rather curious as to don't name it dog. You can't, I'm changing my opinion as I'm saying this because if you don't name it, you're just going to end up calling it dog. And then its name becomes dog. And that's just dumb. We all know it's a dog. We all know what it is. It's like naming your child Person. which is there a law against that? There maybe should be a law against naming a human person. Their first name's human, their middle name's person. That would be interesting, actually. Or no middle name, first name human, last name person. I'd like to see that. What are some awful names that I've heard? Poochie, I don't like. Don't name your dog Cat. That's stupid. You think it's clever. It's not. It's just silly. It's just annoying. Let's see. I got another top 10 list here for pet names. Let's see the most popular pet names in the UK. Because I'm actually kind of curious. Let's see. Oh, no, this is a terrible list. So we're going to skip that. And go to Best Pet Names of 2018. This is a more recent one. DJ Scribbles and Bits is the number one wackiest dog name of petinsurance.com. I don't like that. You don't need to put DJ. Your dog's not a disc jockey. I guess the D could stand for something dog related. Dog junkie, Scribbles and Bits. And then the cat top name is Jean-Claude Van Damme. I do like that one. Let's see. I'm going to give you some names that you can name your dog. Big League Chew. I like that a lot, but that's kind of long. That's a little too long. BLC, you could name it. My cat's freaking out right now for some reason. What's your deal? Huh? Why are you being so loud? Grandpa. Stella Bean Dip. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Oh, jeez. These guys are trying way too hard. Jiggle Wiggle, Judge Nugget. Yeah, bad. All these names are terrible. The Big Ragu. Squirt Magoo. That's disgusting. That's a disgusting animal name. El Chalupa Cabra. See, your dog name should be one word. One word. It doesn't need to be a sentence. Luis Gaga Boots Barry the First, King of All Dogs. Is seriously someone named their dog that? Come on. It's cute for, a day? Until you have to actually say it? Until you have to command your dog? I don't like it. You get one word to name your dog. And it better be good. Let's see what this list says the trendiest dog names are. Okay, so I'm getting all sorts of different lists here. And they are all telling me different names. So this is the trendiest pet names according to vetstreet.com. Female, you got Lola, Stella, Luna, Nala, Izzy, Layla, Lulu, Ellie, Piper, Mia. I do like Lola. My great-grandmother was named Lola. I think it's a cute name. Cat is also Lola. Let's go to male. Bentley, Diesel, Tank, Marley, Milo, Gunner, Louie, Thor, Cooper, Leo. Dogs kind of have... I don't know if you should give your dog like a weapon-related name like Tank or Gunner. It makes him seem, I don't know, vicious, if you ask me. A little too aggressive. You know, dogs can already be aggressive as is, some dogs. So I don't see why you would name it something that would give it more aggression, I guess, make it feel more aggressive. Thor is cool. I like Thor as a dog name. My buddy had a dog named Thor. Great dog. Cooper, definitely a good dog name. In fact, I'm going to say that's more of a dog name than a person name. And on that note, we're going to jump into another break here. When we get back, we're going to talk about dog names that are more human than dog. Let's talk to you in a minute.
Is weird odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea, then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
We're back, my friends. We've been going over dog names. We're going to do one more segment on dog names. Pet names in general, but then we'll move on to something else because I'm tired of talking about this subject. Thought I could talk about it for longer, and I don't know. It's kind of boring, if you ask me. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with myself. I'm going to be honest with the people. Here's some dog names. Well, so the list is saying that these are human names that are great dog names. Or are they great dog names that are human names? So number one on the list is Charlie. I don't see why that's such a great dog name. I don't get that one. 2 is Chloe. 3 is Lucy. 4 is Jack. I've seen Jack. And then there's the Jack Russell Terrier, which is 2 human names mixed with terrier. Jake, Lola, again. Cody, Maggie, Molly. Molly, I think, should just be a purely dog name. Dog or doll name. Toby, Finn, Riley, Kyle, Alex, Frank, Abby, Frank. No one's naming their dog Frank. Give me a break. Bobby, okay. See, these lists, you're going to have to name your animal yourself. Don't trust these lists because they're all ridiculous. Roger is a good dog name. Todd, no. Mabel, Mabel's a good cow's name, I'd say. And I don't think a human has been named Mabel in about 70 years. So keep that in mind. Gertrude, again, I've never met a Gertrude. I don't think the name Gertrude has been used in possibly longer than 70 years. I think Gertrude had a short stretch in the 20s. Maybe from like 25 to 1930, there was a few Gertrudes, and I don't know. For some reason, we think that that's a human name. Ezra, Norm. Kind of like Norm is a dog name. Reggie. I like that. And number 100 is Oliver. I think Oliver should be further up the list. If you're going to name your lizard, I'm going to give you a lizard name right here that I thought was good. I was thinking about it earlier. Slithers, Mr. Slithers. So you're welcome to take that if you want for a lizard name. And I know lizards don't technically slither, but do it anyway. Sounds right. Do lizards slither? Snakes slither. What is a slither, technically? A slither is... Can we get a definition here? Come on. The snake slithered through the garden. Yeah, I want a definition. To slide on or as if on a loose, gravelly surface. To slip or slide like a snake. Okay. Belly, crawl, creep, grovel, slide, snake, worm, wriggle. Okay. I dig it. So, I mean, lizards kind of slither. Because they kind of, they roll their belly back and forth, side to side. I'm going to say a lizard slithers. Lizards slither. And it sounds good together. Mr. Lizard Slither. Mr. Slither. Mr. Slither the Lizard. That's a tongue twister. Tell that to your kids. Get your kids to say that twice in a row. Your young children, they'll learn how to speak in days. days after birth. Mr. Lizard slithers. Right. Well, we've gone through some of the worst pet names here, some of the best pet names. I think the ultimate way to name your pet is just name it after something you love. Name it after a band you like. Name it after a musician you like, or a movie you love, or your old childhood pet. And if it's not a dog, maybe don't even worry about naming it at all. Cats usually could have a name, but I don't know. I read someone comment on one of these lists and it was saying, like, you shouldn't name your cat something vile, or it will turn into what you named it. Like, no, it won't. No, it won't. Your cat will turn into what you treat it. Your name isn't going to affect your animal that much whatsoever. You could name your dog Poop Butt, and it could be the best dog in the world, always goes to the bathroom outside, always cleans itself up. Your name's not going to affect... I don't believe names affect your personality that much. Maybe to a very small extent, and maybe it's only to people, not to animals. I don't think a dog really recognizes that its name is its name. It just knows that it's being addressed. It knows that if you say that word, it's going to, you want it to pay attention to you. It doesn't know that, it doesn't think like, oh, that's my name, like a human does, obviously. So yeah, if you need a name, go on the internet if you can't figure it out yourself. I feel like usually people have a name in mind before they even get a dog. I didn't. I had a name in mind before I got my cats. I knew what I was going to name my cats before I got my cats. Particularly Cat Stevens. I'd been thinking about that for a long time. I was thinking, if I ever get a cat, it's getting named Stevens. And I did, and it was a girl, and I still named her Stevens. And you know what? She's the best cat ever. I'm sure that lady who commented on the one thing on the list would say, hey, well, you named your cat all wrong. You named your cat kind of as a joke. And I'd say, yeah, and she's still the best cat there's ever been. Cat Stevens. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It really is not going to affect your animal that much. Don't name it Spot. Don't name it something cliche like that either. Don't name it Rex or Buster or Buddy. Because those are just boring. Those are so old. Benji. Adolf. Never name anyone Adolf anymore. That name's off limits. Scooby-Doo, I'm going to say, is cliche. Snoopy also. It's too boring, no effort. Scooby-Doo, come on. Tiger, good name for a cat, not for a dog. Elvis, I'm going to say yes to Elvis. I like that name. I don't care what people think. Brutus is surprisingly overused. You wouldn't believe it, but it is way overused, folks. What can you name a fish? Why you would name a fish? I don't know. Let's see some popular fish names here. Sunlit, Bubla, Swoosh, Flu, Glimmer, Keto. And these are goofy. These are goofy names. You shouldn't name your fish. Plus, you got a fish tank. You got 5 fish in there. You're going to forget which one's which. Oh, that one I think is Vishna. And that one's Brie. You're never going to remember. Rabbits, again, they're not going to care. Some popular rabbit names. Giddy, Covies, Capstan. What are these names? Who wrote this list? This is terrible. Never heard of a rabbit named that. Name a rabbit after what it eats. Carrot. Turnip. In fact, Turnip seems like, I like that name. Mr. Turnip. Let's see, rat names. Ugh. Rizzy. I like Rizzo after the Muppet. Rizzy, not as much. Rizzy, maybe for the girl. If you have a Rizzy and Rizzo, I like that. I do like that. Giddy, Squat, Zufu, Shift, Poco. All these names are really bad. We're going to take a quick break here, folks. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Friends, we're back. We're done talking about names. Tired of names. Boring topic anyways. If you can't figure out what to name your pet, then maybe you shouldn't have one. How about that? Folks, it is a special holiday today, and it's April 17th today. And April 17th is International Bat Appreciation Day. Now, you know, considering everything that's going on, it might be hard to appreciate the bat right now. They seem to be riddled with diseases. Because of all this, I had to stop eating bat soup. That's a shame. But it's National Bat Appreciation Day. Each year on April 17th, National Bat Appreciation Day reminds us of the roles bats play in our daily lives. April is also the best time of the year to observe bats, as they are now beginning to emerge from hibernation. The observance is an excellent time to learn about the role bats play in nature. Since bats are considered to be an insectivorous creature, they rid our world of many annoying insects. In 1 hour, a bat can eat up to 1,000 mosquitoes. So you keep that in mind, you know? Maybe you get COVID, but you don't get West Nile. So yeah, there's a little give and take. Nature's got give and takes. Let's read about some fun bat facts. Some species of bats live up to 40 years. I don't know what species those are. Presumably it's those big dog ones. Those ones that look like chihuahuas with wings and have dog faces. They're pretty intense. I forget what those are called. They're not the vampire bats are the scary little ones, the buck noses. The dog ones are, I forgot what kind of bat they are. I can look that up later. Bats can see in the dark and use their extreme sense of hearing. They also use echolocation to find food. So yeah, I didn't know they could see in the dark. I thought they just used echolocation. They let out a screech, bounces off a rock, and then they know not to fly into it. A bat's ability to fly makes them unique. In the mammal world, only bats are naturally capable of true and sustained flight. You forget they're mammals. They're like a weird half creature between a bird and a mammal, but they don't have like really bird wings. Bird wings are way different than bat wings. There are over 1,200 known species of bats. Yes. An estimated 48 species of bats make their home in the United States. That's it, huh? Out of 1,200, there's only 48 species of bats that make their home in the United States. So I would think it would be more than that since the United States is so big. Nearly 70% of bats are insectivores. I guess a lot of them eat fruit, too, and stuff. So I was going to say that's disturbing. Then what is the other 30%? What do they eat? Flesh. As pollinators, bats, along with bees and butterflies, provide a vital link to our food supply. All right, there you go, folks. And the vital link is not eating them, as we've learned this year. Bats grow in a variety of sizes. One of the largest bats is the giant golden-crowned flying fox bat, weighing up to 4 pounds with a wingspan of 5 feet and 7 inches. Ugh. I don't know how I feel about that. That's too big. 5 feet? That's like could envelop me. Bats grow in a variety... Oh, whoops, just read that fact. Bats are also clean animals, grooming themselves almost constantly, except while they're eating bugs. North America's largest urban bat colony is found on the Congress Avenue Bridge in Austin, Texas. An estimated 1,500,000 Mexican free-tailed bats live there. On the bridge? Like under the bridge? This colony of bats eats approximately 10,000 to 30,000 pounds of insects each night. Wow. An estimated 100,000 tourists visit the bridge annually to watch the bats leave the roost at twilight. That's really cool. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to check that out if I ever go to Austin, Texas. Never really been to Texas. I think I've been there once when I was a little kid. One colony of 150 big brown bats protects farmers from up to 33 million or more rootworms each summer. Bats are our friends, folks. Bats are our friends. Do not eat them. Almost 40% of American bat species are in severe decline, with some already listed as endangered or threatened. That's not good. And 3 U.S. states have an official state bat. Okay, hold on. Enough with the official. We don't need an official state everything. All right? I keep seeing this when people will be like, oh, well, our official state flower is this, and our official state animal is this, and our official state bird is this, and this, and this. And blah, 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 blah. It's too much. It's too much. Not everything has to be official and ours. You know? Just let the bat be the bat. You don't have to have a state bat on top of a state bird. What's next? What's next? A state brand of frozen pizza? Come on. Get over it. Get off of it. State dog. I'm sure there's plenty of state dogs already. If I looked it up, I guarantee there'd be a million. This is our state dog. This dog belongs to our state. Come on. Let's see. Texas and Oklahoma named the Mexican free-tailed bat their state bat. Okay. So Texas and Oklahoma, they can't have the same bat either. One of you has to pick. You have to fight it out. And Virginia dubbed the Virginia big-eared bat their state bat. Okay. Good. Good for you, Virginia. How to observe Bat Appreciation Day? Well, there's lots of ways. Try not eating one. Maybe just go observe a bat. Learn more about bats, read about them, or watch a bat documentary. Watch Batman. How about that? Watch the Dark Knight trilogy. That's a great Batman series. Or the old ones with, what's his name? Michael Keaton from the 90s. Those are good movies. The history of International Bat Appreciation Day. The BCI, that being the Bat Conservation International, started and supports International Bat Appreciation Day. The BCI mission is to conserve the world's bats and their ecosystems to ensure a healthy planet. All right. Well, there we go. There's a thing or two about bats. The bats are kind of scary. I'm going to be honest. If they came out in the day more, I'd be less afraid of them. And the golden crowned, that's the one I was thinking of, the flying fox, as they call it. That thing's horrifying. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and its wings look like spider legs. It's like half spider, half fox, half eagle. They're too cunning. It's like a mythological beast. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous creature. Folks, there's another animal day today. That's being April 17th. I record this the day before, so these days are actually after when I record them. But we've got one more national day coming up. Not really necessarily for a pet, but it is an animal. So stick around, and we will be right back.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And my friends, we are in the final moments of today's Pet Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Today is not only International Bat Appreciation Day, but it is another National Animal Day. Not really a pet. I guess you could keep one as a pet. After doing this podcast, I've seen that just about anything can be a pet. Who cares anymore? There's no rules anymore. It's pandemic era. It is National Crawfish Day, folks. Now, unlike the bat, I recommend eating this. I highly recommend eating a delicious crawfish. Let's read more about the day. National Crawfish Day, celebrated on April 17th, celebrates one of the South's most iconic foods. Each year, the mud bug brings out not only the desire for newspaper-covered picnic tables, but a language all its own. A smaller, freshwater cousin to the lobster, crawfish provide a unique flavor to many homegrown southern dishes. Baked or broiled, crawfish is usually seasoned with a distinctive brand of southern heat. One particularly popular way to serve crawfish is a boil, paper towels required. If you've never been to a crawfish boil, you don't understand the meaning of digging into your food. An unbridled desire overcomes you as the aroma hits you to devour a massive pile of corn, potatoes, and sausage. And let's not forget a variety of shellfish that go by the names such as ditch bug, crayfish, crawdad, crawpappy, among other amusements. Here's how we observe National Crawfish Day. Whether you experience crawfish for the first time or the 1,000th, celebrate with family and friends. Enjoy a delicious crawfish boil or crawfish tails. As you celebrate, share your family favorite recipes too. And of course, use National Crawfish Day. Post on social media. I guess you could keep the crawfish as a pet if you're kind of, a funky guy. I'm not sure what a crawfish looks like. It's cousin of a lobster. Oh, they just look like little mini lobsters. I don't know if I've ever eaten a crawfish. But something about, cracking it open, slurping out its inside seems like I wouldn't want to eat it. It seems like a little too much for me. And then, with lobsters, you boil them and the whatever insides break. There's, shell breaks open and lets out a squeal. It's kind of unnerving. I feel bad when I do that. It feels wrong, folks. It just feels wrong. But, if someone took it out for me and fried it up, I would be all over it. I would not hesitate to dive into a crawfish platter right now. I've been fasting today, so even just looking at this page makes me want to eat a delicious crawfish. And not looking at the crawfish itself. Let's look into the history of National Crawfish Day. Shell Shack founded National Crawfish Day on April 17th, 2020. Oh, wait, is this the first ever National Crawfish Day? This is the first ever. Tomorrow is going to be the first ever National Crawfish Day. My goodness, folks. And we're celebrating it here right now. Get out there and get a crawfish. If you can still get them. I don't know what the you know, if it's easy to get them right now, if you don't live in the South where they're from. Let's read this again. Shell Shack founded National Crawfish Day on April 17th, 2020 to celebrate one of the most beloved native foods of Southern culture. They encourage everyone to get out during the peak season to indulge in a crawfish boil surrounded by friends and family. Wow. So there we go. There we have it. Welcome to the first, and you know, this is on nationaldaycalendar.com. That's where I go to find out my national days. In case you're interested, it's also National Cheese Ball Day, National Ellis Island Family History Day, National Haiku Poetry Day, and National Clean Out Your Medicine Cabinet Day. And then on Saturday, it's National Animal Crackers Day. So there you go. How about that? But yeah, get out there. Get out with your family and friends either way. Well, I guess you can't really right now. That's bad advice. Get on Zoom. Get on, you know, get everyone, you know, to buy a crawfish. Go sit at your computer, cook them up, and eat them over the computer screen with your family and friends. How adorable would that be? Do we have any other national pet days today? Let's see what other national days we have today before we go. We got a few minutes left here. Because I'm kind of curious. And National Crawfish Day, as much as it's fun, it's not doing it for me. Let's see what this 17th is. National Nothing Like a Dame Day. Oh, wow. What is it, the 30s? All right. Nothing Like a Dame Dog Day. How about that? Well, folks, celebrate your bats today. Next time you get bit by a mosquito, remember who's out there protecting you from the mosquitoes. Not just Batman. Watch some Batman. Sure. He's a bat-related superhero. Appreciate him. He's probably one of the most popular superheroes. So, appreciate Batman today. Appreciate your bats. Eat some crawfish. And thanks again for tuning into the GSMC Pet Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Taylor Cowan. And follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We're on all of them. And from wherever you're listening, leave us a big ol' 5-star review. You have no idea how much that helps us. It's what keeps this podcast going. Folks, again, thank you for tuning in. Celebrate a bat. And I'll talk to you next time. Have a fantastic evening. Good night.
You've been listening to the GSMC Pets Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's podcast.